So, good mix of countries here amongst our 10 finalists. There were 31 countries, 143 athletes here. A little down on Stavanger in Norway last year, but that, of course, had the added spice of being an Olympic qualifying tournament. Now, Mariusz Rytkowski, again, another man who's got junior world credentials and junior European. He was fourth in the junior worlds at 76 kilos, so he was behind one or two other talents. But ahead of Kutlik last year, lifted 150 as a junior at 76 kilos, and he started at 145. What do you make of him?
I think this young man is an obvious talent. He's had to work last year just to keep up with the team. Now, obviously, after the Olympics, a number of people have retired. He's had an opportunity to find his own place in the team. He'll be looking towards Sydney in 2000.
Plenty of empty seats. The crowds haven't been fantastic. That's probably about the best audience we've had. And a bit disappointing that the folk from Rijeka haven't come up to enjoy this, because there's some real talent. And here's our man, Anthony Arthur. Hails originally from Manchester and finished very good 8th last year, but he missed the first 2 snatches. It was the 3rd one that he got on 145, so he's starting, in a sense, Jeffrey, from where he finished last year.
Yes, last year, of course, he was going through his final examinations. Now he's starting to take up full-time training, so we hope that's something off Anthony.
Well, that's a disappointment. I'm sure he's got the power to do this.
Oh, he fixed it nicely overhead. A little bit more extension there. Unfortunately, he had to struggle with it, and he went behind.
Worth mentioning at this point, Britain's other lifter, Stephen Ward, who lifted earlier in the B group, recorded a total of 320. He actually snatched, checking here, snatched 145 kilos and jerked 175. And if 1 or 2 fail, he could move up the order into the A group. But that was a decent performance by the 22-year-old from Peterborough. But now on stage, this is Daniel Bango. Solid as a rock.
As you say, this man's got a good swagger to him. I think he's very disappointed. He looks to be a little bit frustrated that his coaches are not allowing him to take some more weight. Every time he comes off the stage, he addresses the coaches and asks for more weight. The form he's showing, you can't understand why they're not letting him take it. Nice extension there, fixes the bar.
Anthony Arthur, back on stage, had a rough decision to make when he came back from the Olympics, because virtually told by Bristol University, where he was studying chemistry, you either concentrate on your studies or you concentrate on the weightlifting, and it's the weightlifting that won. Much better. That's a lot more like it. So he's got the opportunity now to go a bit further. He had 147.5, Jeffrey, in the Olympics at Atlanta.
I think he's looking to go a little bit more. I think he'll probably try the 150. Plenty of strength there. Didn't quite finish the extension, so there's more power there. Finished the bar a little bit in front, but he controlled it. Never at risk.
And an important night for him. Were he to finish in the top 6, which is a personal target, it would make a big difference to his life, because at that point he would get into the elite group and qualify for some more extra lottery cash support. More of that when we see him again. Now, Daniel Bango, 147.5. Now, if you're right, this man probably would have wanted to go to 150.
I think so.
I mean, he lifted 145 kilos last year when he finished 9th in the snatch division of the European Championships.
Yes, that was a good lift there. I think that it's always the coach's job to actually moderate it. You appreciate the lifters always want to take more than they're capable of, but on this occasion I think Mango had it right. I think he was capable of more.
Yes, an extra 2.5 kilos would have, I think, given him a lot of inner pleasure and just that little bit of extra hunger for going into the clean and jerk.
He's had 3 good lifts this evening. Let's hope he does the same in the clean and jerk.
Now, Mariusz Rytkowski. This title won by Yuri Mishkovets of Russia, who's yet to lift. Quite a few to get into the fight yet. But it's warming up nicely. So 150 kilos for his second
excellent extension there. You can see the strength that's going into holding that bar there. Turns slightly to the side, but that's no problem. The Poles have some of the best coaches in the world and accordingly some of the best technicians. Perfect technique there. Just starts to turn, but has no problem in controlling it. Holds the bar just long enough for the referee to give him a down signal.
Now, important lift, 150 for Anthony Arthur.
Position. He was in the 83 class himself.
I have to say, you just sensed a moment of self-disbelief there.
Yes, I think that's what we saw in the lift as well. He didn't finish it off. There was no extension.
And he finds himself on 145, which was the mark he had in the Europeans last year. So that's, I have to say, a disappointing start, particularly to be bested by the likes of Daniel Bango. He should have been at least on terms with him there. So he's got quite a bit of work to do in the clean and jerk.
Yes, he's in the competition with Stephen Ward. He's not to be forgotten.
Indeed, 320 kilos, and Stephen Ward successful at 145 kilos. Body weight of 82 kilos 30 for Stephen Ward. And Anthony weighing in at exactly 82 kilos, so he's got the edge in terms of body weight between the two Brits. And Stephen Ward sitting just a couple of rows behind us, eagerly watching this, and a little frustrated, Jeffrey, that he wasn't in tonight's lineup, because you always want to be centre stage, don't you?
That's right. All the lifters like to be in the A group. Unfortunately, Anthony Arthur got it today, and Stephen Ward didn't. So it would have been nice to have seen 2 British boys up there tonight.
British Championships, for those of you who'd like to go along, 5th and 6th of July down in Bristol at the Empire Club. Not too expensive, plenty of seats available. You'd be most welcome. Mr. Rytkowski now with 155 on the bar for Poland. 152.5 might have been wiser.
Yes, I think so tonight. It wasn't there, was it? It was just a matter of strength.
The interesting thing about this man, he is the lightest in the whole competition at 80 kilos, and that's 3 kilos below the level. So that's really, in one sense, an advantage. In another sense, it's a big disadvantage, the lack of power.
3 kilos body weight is a lot, and you'll find he's considerably less strong than the other competitors. He's going to have to put that weight on over the next year or so that next time he comes to the European Championships, he's able to do that.
Well, first finalist here from Azerbaijan, Tofig Haydarov. Tofig, who competed in the Olympic Games, finished a decent 11th place with a total of 330. But let me put that in context with you. For you, that was 52.5 kilos behind Mark Huster of Germany, who took the silver medal. Now, what's he found in the last year?
Not very much by the looks of it.
160 kilos. Well, interesting because he lifted 150 in Atlanta, so he's starting off 10 kilos up on what he achieved in America.
That first lift made you think that 150 might have been more appropriate. There was no pull, there was no extension, he was never in control of the weight.
Now, in case you haven't guessed, it's the Turkish representative who's come on stage. The choir are here once again, and this is Dursan Sevink. And Mark Huster certainly respects the chances of this man. He did finish 7th in the Olympic Games. He was the best part of, 20-odd kilos behind the German, but may well have improved. And the Turks have come here in terrific form. 160 on the bar. Little wrong with that.
Nothing at all. In fact, the Turkish choir made so much noise that he didn't even hear the down signal and waited until the referee told him a second time to put the bar down.
25 years of age from Ankara. He's an interesting character. He's soon going to be a dad, I think, expecting their first child in a couple of months. But he's a man who really likes to train and rest. That's really most of his life. And now Tufik Haydarov. If he doesn't get this, he really has miscalculated. I'm not sure he's going to get a third lift.
He doesn't look like it. He looks as if he should have been starting at 150. That bar's far too heavy for him at the moment. And he's not going to get strong in the next 10 minutes.
He was 20th back in the World Championships in 1994 when he lifted 150. And as I said, in America last year, he lifted 150. So on the face of it, and in the Europeans last year, when he actually finished 5th overall, he did lift 152.5. But we've never had any hints of this sort of progress from him.
No, not even this evening. That weight isn't moving anywhere near fast enough or high enough.
So, as you say, this might have been the point where either the coaches have pushed him too hard or they've failed to moderate his own ambitions.
Yes, I think so.
It's the secretariat table there where all the facts and figures are put together.
More and more computers there nowadays.
This sports hall, the basketball hall, so if you see the bar bounce up and down or any of our pictures, I have to tell you it's because the whole of this platform is fixed on top of a very springy floor. Well, I hate to say I was right, and you were as well, Jeff, but really the poor lad now can't get a total. He can't get a ranking position, and having finished 5th in the Europeans last year and 11th in the world, I think he's been compromised. Now, that's slightly good news for Anthony Arthur and also Stephen Ward, because Stephen's got a total, and Anthony will surely get one. And that should help both men's overall ranking, but a long way before that story is clear.
Here's one of the favourites for the medals.
Yes, weighing in today at 82 kilos 50, so that's heavier than Mark Huster, and Mark Huster got the silver, this man got the bronze. 372.5 in Atlanta, 10 kilos behind Huster overall, but that was last year. 162.5 on the bar for this very useful Polish 28-year-old.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Great strength evidence, great technique. Everything you'd expect from the Polish lifters.
170 was what he lifted in America. Incidentally, that was the same weight that Mark Huster achieved. And I think Mark Huster is looking for 175 tonight. So now the defending champion, Yuri Mishkovets, representing Russia. and a slightly controversial character because he was due to lift in the Olympic Games in Atlanta last year and didn't. Now, no one's quite certain what the story was. I think I can leave it to your imagination, but he is back here now to take his chance. But I think he's got a hard job on here, Jeff, to retain this title.
It's not very often that the defending champion can worry about the opposition as much as he has to worry about Huster.
Huster, who missed the Europeans last year to focus on the Olympic Games. Very deep, but the drive up was effective enough.
Yes, a very good lift.
165 kilos, 167.5 last year in Norway to set himself on his way. He actually won the snatch there, ahead of Dusan Sevic, who, as you see this replay, is making his way on the stage to have a crack at 165 kilos. Worth mentioning also, Miskovets is pretty light, 81.20. And that compares to last year when he weighed in Miskovets at 82.95, so he's considerably lighter this year. Maybe he did a bit too much in the sauna. Buzzer indicating he's got just under 30 seconds. And maybe it just rushed out a bit.
Yes, that went badly wrong for him. He pulled it off to one side. His foot moved out to the side. Watch his right foot here. Extension's there, but I don't know if he slips or what, but he pulls it to one side, and his foot moves out to the side, and he's lost it completely.
Well, he's got to sort that out with his coach, Omar Öztürk. Still really looking for the big success. Third in the European Championships in '95, third again in 1996. But the silver and the gold might elude him tonight with this man, and here marching around, striding. He really commands wherever he goes. He's very much an ambassador for the sport, both in Germany and around the world. And Frank Mantek wearing the green hat there, every move. Huster, Olympic silver medalist, to open his account at 167.5 kilos. Exactly the weight he predicted on the start sheet. World champion back in 1994. Do that sort of weight before a lot more efficiently.
That wasn't the best way of doing it at all, was it? But he got it there. Nice extension there. Has to chase after the bar a little bit. You can see how much work he had to put into it. But he's happy.
Traditionally, the clean and jerk has been his stronger lift. But now, Dusan Sevic and Kofelik, I should say, who's got 162.5, is going up to 167.5, and body weights here 82.50 for Kofelik, 82.30 for Huster, so that still gives Huster the edge, even if this good man makes this weight. Why didn't he do that the second time?
That's the easy way.
Yeah. Actually, I was getting confused with Sevink there. Apologies for that. Accusing Kovalik of messing up his last lift. Of course, he didn't. So he's got two good lifts there, and he's matching weights at the moment with Mark Huster. But here is Dusan Sevink. So 167.5. He's in a way keeping to his game plan. He missed at 165, but obviously feels confident enough that he can lift this sort of weight. And if he wants to keep in touch for the overall medals, the big ones, he's got to really do this, Jeffrey.
It's not a good idea to go up if you fail the second attempt, but he's in a position where he's between a rock and a hard place. He's got to go up, keeping the competition.
Well, there's a good example of guts and courage.
That was more strength, that was. Majority decision, 2 white lights. Centre referee said no. His foot just slipped out to the side again. I don't know what's happening there. Most unusual.
We'll have a chance, perhaps difficult to see on that replay, about whether the arms were locked out or not. Looks okay from what I can see. What do you think, Jeffrey? You've been in this position down there, being asked the big question.
The arms look fine. I'm not quite sure why he would have got that one turned down, except that he's starting to turn, maybe. I'm not sure if he had it under control before the other 2 referees gave him a down signal.
Feet were steady.
Yeah.
But that's history now. He's got it. Now here comes the forgotten man at the moment, Mishkovets, the defending champion, with 3/4 of a minute to prepare for 170 kilos. So this would be 2.5 more than he achieved last year on his way to the title. And Mishkovets 81 kilos 20, Mark Huster 82.30. So if the Russians got the technique and the power, this could be a useful lift if he can pull this off. The Russians haven't really had any success here at these championships as yet. Was it too heavy?
I think it was on that occasion. He didn't look easy with his first one. That one really seemed to take a toll.
Would push him back down to 165 at the moment.
You see his shoulders nicely over the bar there. Plenty of extension. Fixes the bar, but it's a very delicate balance there, and it just loses behind.
So Mark Huster now on the stage at 170 kilos. Important lift, because this really could set him on his way. Kovalik, remember, of Poland's got 1 more lift to go. Huster will have 1 more after that. Mishkovets has got 1 left. Better than the first one. Yeah, that's giving him a lot of confidence. He looks a happy chappy now.
He has 4 more reason to be now. That was a far better lift than the first one.
Just to give you a comparison of what it means to get Olympic silver and Olympic gold, when Spiros Demos went home, the gold medal winner in Atlanta, he picked up $150,000. This man, just 7,500 Deutschmarks for his silver medal. So Kovalik now of Poland with 170 kilos. Again, Jeff, he's not worrying about the body weight. He's just worrying about keeping to his own game plan. Can't overtake Huster, but he can keep tabs with him.
No lift.
He would have done, but unfortunately that now leaves him 2.5 kilos behind and the heavier man, so that's a setback in a real sense.
He was looking very strong up to that point.
Doesn't quite get it there, does he?
No, it just falls a little bit short. Not quite enough extension.
So Mishkovets has got 170 to try and pull off. Now, if he does that, he would then go ahead of Mark Huster, who would then have the final lift of the snatch phase of tonight's competition. And this would also give him the silver medal because he'd be ahead of Kofalik. So it's a pretty important lift, this. And he's never looked at these, so this will be a real achievement if he can do it. Come on, come on. Good boy. Unanimous 3 wide.
And he deserved it. It was a perfect lift, wasn't it? Everything went into that. He wouldn't have done it if it was half an ounce heavier, that's for sure.
And that shows you how the fortunes can swing backwards and forwards, because suddenly he goes from near oblivion into the lead.
You can see the concentration that went into it, the effort.
Well, that's what champions are made of. And he's come here as not the favourite, not even the second favourite, arguably. And takes the lead, so Mark Huster now forced to put 172.5 kilos on the bar and has to lift this, because if he doesn't lift it, then Mishkovets will take the gold in the snatch. And equally important, will be on terms going into the second half.
That's right.
Well.
Yeah. The strength was there, wasn't it? But the technique wasn't. But as you said earlier, this is when champions show their mettle.
And suddenly, Mark Huster, the big favourite, ends up with the silver in the snatch. And Mishkovets, by virtue of his 170 and much lighter body weight, is a full kilo lower than Mark Huster. And Huster and Mantek, the game plan has gone awry. And he's going to have to go back into the corner. He can retrieve this, there's no question, with a clean and jerk. But that's not the way to go into half-time. The equivalent of going in a goal down.
I'm sure he's going to come back for the jerk, fired up and ready to go and win 2 more gold medals. But he's not going to be happy at having lost the first one for the snatch.
So now there's a little interval of just about 10 minutes for these lifters to compose themselves and get themselves ready for the 2-phase discipline, the clean and jerk. This lift here of Mishkovets sealing, securing and winning and retaining the European Championship in snatch. Confirmation on the screen there, not the result I would have predicted, I have to say. Gold to Russia, the silver to Huster. Poland's Kofalik has to settle for the bronze there, but you can see it's pretty close. And Turkey's Dusan Semik, he's also got some work to do. That second miss, very costly, it really stopped his progress. And the Latvian, Delitis, coming up from the B group, contested earlier today with 147.5 kilos, taking advantage there for a very good 5th place final position. And further down, Daniel Bango, who we think could have tried a bit more, just ahead of Anthony Arthur, who's in 6th place, who will hope for better things. And Anthony, as you can see there, with Stephen Ward. Just a few words about our host venue here. If you've never been down to Croatia, or indeed to Opatija, the holiday resort that was pretty famous before the war that divided and cost so many lives and destroyed so many families around here. Well, Croatia trying to get back to normal. And it really is a very nice holiday resort. They've got quite a lot of modernising to do, as you can imagine. The money ran out pretty quickly, although the actual war didn't really touch this part of Croatia. It's just about a 2-hour drive down from Venice. Along the coast, you go through Slovenia and then come through to Croatia, or it's about the same sort of drive from Ljubljana. Unfortunately, there's no main airport here, but it's right on the Adriatic coast, very, very pleasant, and Rijeka is where they work here. It's the port. Everything happens around there, the industry, oil, petrochemicals, but also cruise boats, fishing boats. But when they go to play in Rijeka, they go down the road to Opatija. And that's where Jeffrey and myself have been staying, and it's been very pleasant, Jeffrey.
Very pleasant indeed. The weather's been excellent this week. We've had a little bit of rain, but apart from that, excellent.
Pretty nice, though, for the lifters as well. I mean, I have to say, Jeffrey, we sometimes end up into some grotty mid-European capitals, but this is quite nice for the lifters. They get a chance to be by the pool and relax.
Yes, I think they've had a good break.
So you can see the men trying to get things together. Not, of course, lifting any really serious weights at the moment.
No, this is the first part of the warm-up. I think we need to put it into perspective. This is the first year of an Olympic cycle. Everybody worked very hard for Atlanta. Most of them would have come back for a 2 or 3 month break. 1 or 2 are recovering from injuries. This is the first championship since then, 10 months ago. They'll be starting work about 6 months ago. They're just gently getting back into it. Many of them, as you've seen, have been young lifters who've gone up in body weight. Now they're starting to try out this new body weight and see what they can do with it.
So we're going to take another short pause to pay the rent. We'll be back in a flash. Well, just a reminder for you, live on Eurosport from Rijeka, Croatia, for this 175 kilos, getting a good clean here. This is Mariusz Rytkowski of Poland. His first attempt. I promise you wouldn't miss anything. And you haven't missed a lift at all. This is the Pole getting on his way, finished in, I think it's unlikely.
It's certainly unlikely at this stage of the competition, I think.
Now, Rytkowski, young Pole, 180 kilos on the bar. We've not seen anything of this man in senior competitions, but that was very solid.
Yes, a good lift there. He looks quite pleased with himself. This is the young man who's put on a lot of body weight recently, just left the junior ranks, looking to establish himself for the next Olympic cycle.
And Rytkowski with 150 and 180 has a running total of 330 at the moment. And now Kutlik, 175, going for 180, so second lift, 5 kilo increase. Again, worth mentioning, the junior last year, lifted in the 76 kilo category, 152.5 kilos, now 180 kilos, body weight of 82.30, so more than twice his weight, will very shortly be on his shoulders. Three white. And that is a new personal best by 5 kilos.
After the first one, we weren't sure he had much more left in him, but he certainly worked very hard to get that one.
He'll stagger forward, but at the end of the day, the feet are still and they're in line, and the judges are satisfied. Well, back to the Czech Republic now from Slovakia. This is Daniel Bango. Now he opened up on 177.5, did that well enough, but total there, but going to move him up a little bit. He was down in 11th place in the snatch. I think he's going to finish higher as a result of that. And now Rytkowski, the light man. Just 80 kilos. We mentioned it in the snatch phase of the competition. It's really tough when you come in 3 kilos underweight to take on the likes of Mark Huster.
Most of these men would have actually reduced body weight in order to make the 83 kilos. It's unlikely that this man had to reduce at all.
185 on the bar, for a total of 335.
Not there today.
But he's only 20, and I think we have to bear that in mind. He was fourth in the Junior World Championships last year when he totaled 325, and today he's totaled 330. He'll gain strength. And the Poles, they look to have one or two useful youngsters coming through. And as you said, this is the beginning of the new Olympic cycle, running up towards those Millennium Games in Sydney.
You can see how his back starts to bend. The weight's just a little bit too much for him there. He's really having to struggle to get out of that. And when you have to work that hard to finish off the clean, then you're at a big disadvantage when it comes to jerking the weight. He tries to settle, but it's too much for him tonight.
And a much better crowd, in fact the best crowd we've had of the championship so far. Plenty of action to come. Remember, we're here for the last 4 categories tomorrow, 91 and 99 kilos, and on Sunday 108, and then live at 3. Helped him to the bronze medal. Kofelik in 3rd place after the snatch.
That doesn't count as an attempt. He's obviously injured. He can come back any time. The clock's still running. It's only 5 seconds, so he hasn't got time to come back, but he's obviously injured. The fact is, will it stop him coming back for his 2nd and 3rd attempts?
Yes, just exactly what the injury is.
It looks to be to his lower right leg, but we've heard nothing.
Well, that's a real disappointment. And we've had quite a few shocks and surprises at these championships. And that's taken quite a bit of pressure off Mark Huster there. Huster will come in for 200 also to start. The clock is already ticking down, but I think the cards are going to be played differently.
He's sitting there quite calmly now, David. I can see the marshals running around. I think that the coaches have changed the poundage.
Well, he prepared to come in for this championship in the belief that he might well be meeting his friend Spiros Dimas. Now, he hasn't mucked around with his preparation. He lifted 215 kilos in training the other week. His own world record is 213.5. Clearly, if he wants to have a crack at that and do something extravagant to secure the gold medal, he's going to have to start at higher than 200 as a platform.
That's right. I can see that he wants to send a message now. He'll want to send a message all the way to the Mediterranean Games to let Dimos know.
He is a man who finds the answers when the chips are down.
He certainly is. See there, less than 2 seconds on the clock there.
370 kilos the total.
Prepare for the next weight, number 10, Mark Huster, Germany.
So, again, gutsy effort here from Mishkovets of Russia. Gives him a running total of 370, which is pretty interesting. That's now 2.5 kilos higher than when he won the title last year. And the clock is counting down for Kopelik. I think in some trouble, and I doubt he's going to come out.
Here's a 30-second buzzer. Yes, they go everywhere together.
Big Frank. Got to say, as a team manager, Frank Mantek's got a pretty decent record of achievement. Footballing terms, he's up with the best. Plenty of time.
Good lift there from Arthur.
Turkish community are just lined up there waiting for their man. Well, this is going to be the toughest question of the evening for this young man.
You didn't believe it really, did you?
You can see I still have one more lift. Sevink also with one left. Huster's got to get this, though, otherwise Sevink could really turn it round on him.
Well, he's celebrating, but it's not over yet. .377.5 is 5 kilos behind what he lifted in Atlanta. Showman for you, and here's the reply. 210 kilos to give Dusan Sevink a total of 377.5. Checking this now. Beyond him. Of course, in terms of the competition, only 212 and a half will count. The record, the European record and the world record.
And he can afford to do this. So this is what they've come to see. This is what the crowd have paid their money for. And is Mark Huster going to sign off after a very uncharacteristic beginning in the sack?
He's got all the crowd behind him. They think he can do it.
There's Mantek.
Ganz ruhig. Wir haben die Zeit weiterlaufen lassen, die Idioten.
15 seconds. That wasn't bad at all. Bit too much weight, bit too close to the windpipe.
A bit too close to the windpipe, I think. You saw there as the bar went down, his head started to wobble from side to side. He was going faint.
Well, he's won the European Championship, and that was his first objective. And so Mark Huster of Germany gives... So the medal ceremonies will be up in a moment, but first of all, confirmation in the clean and jerk. Mark Huster, who had to settle for silver in the snatch, gets the gold in the clean and jerk there, 207.5, the lighter man, ahead of Dusan Sevic, who missed out on the medals in the snatch, and then Yuri Mishkovets, who won the gold in the snatch, getting the bronze with a 200 lift. I think he's done as well as any defending champion could have done, given the sort of opposition he had today. It wasn't quite as tough last year, but I think he showed a lot of courage and good lifting there. And then look at Andrej Kutlik, the young Slovakian, coming up into fourth place with an excellent 182.5, and that compares with 382.5 in Atlanta. I think if